Oh, it's the black man's fault that he's in the position. Well, what about black on black crime? I mean, it goes on and on and on. You know, I mean, I could sit here all day and give you examples. All lives matter. I mean, it just goes on all day. Black people ask for justice. White people find a way to try to obscure it, to try to take away from it, to try to demean it. We are colonizers. And I say that based on our behavior, collectively as white people. And until we stop being gaslighters and colonizers, white people are on a path of self-destruction. White supremacy, the lies of white supremacy, the colonizing mentality has never brought the white man happiness, and it never will. It's toxic, dysfunctional, and self-defeating. And it's not helping us. And now there's all this white rage, because when the abuser loses control, he gets angry. And then Trump was born because we had a black president. And he was perfect because he was racist. And that's what white America wanted, because they're angry, because they felt like they were losing control. Because colonizers have to have control. And we had a black president. And everybody just shit all over themselves. White people just freak the fuck out. Oh my God, we're losing control. We have a black president. He's going to oppress us and enslave us. God knows we're going to be whipped and lynched. This is literally, I think, some of the thoughts, the subconscious. I'm exaggerating, but in a way it's true. The greatest fear of the colonizer is all that evil, vile shit that we did will be done up unto them, us. And that's why there's so much white rage. The numbers are changing. Pretty soon, white people will not be the majority. The abuser loses control. So what do? We continue gaslighting. We continue with white rage. White domestic terrorism on the rise. The greatest threat in America. White people are enraged because they can no longer control their victims, black and brown people, the way that they want to. They're losing some of their power, some of their positions, some of their privilege. They feel threatened. So here we are, in a state of crazy, utter chaos. That's why I say the lies of white supremacy is our destruction.
I'm pretty sure it's not a bad idea reminding white folks that everybody else belongs to this world just like they do. That there is nobody that belongs to this planet more than another one, or nobody really belongs to this world a little less than the other. In fact, we can confidently say that black folks have been here on this earth long before even the white folks dared to exist. I say this because we see a lot of white entitlement with white people, so much so that it's surprising. It feels like they're the only ones who deserve to be here, but it's not true. There is nowhere else any of us can exist other than on this planet. So it is good to be tolerant enough to take in each other and tolerate each other, because we have to be here deservedly. Everybody must be on this planet. Welcome back to the channel once again, and in case you're coming across this channel for the first time, welcome. Be sure to like this video, share this video, and please subscribe to the channel. I have a video I want to share, and let's watch this video, and at the end of this video we can continue with our conversation, so see you at the other side of this video.
Joe Biden running for a second term. I know he's old, but he's better than Trump. I'll be voting for him. Yeah, me too. Wish we had a better option, though. Yeah, well, at least it's not Trump. We gotta pick the lesser of two evils. Yeah, I guess so. A few months later. Oh my God. Joe Biden stepped down, and now Vice President Kamala Harris is running for office. I don't know why you're excited, Nick. Kamala Harris is pro-Israel. She's a genocidal maniac. We're going to call her Genocide Harris. Wait a minute. Vice President Harris hasn't changed any policies or thought processes than Biden when it comes to Israel and Palestine. She would be way better for black people. She has a history of trying to make law enforcement and just the judicial system more transparent. Trump wants to take away those things and give police more immunity to kill us black people. Like, we're literally going through a slow genocide here as African Americans. I thought that y'all understood that. That's why y'all said we're brothers and sisters. The only real difference is that she's black. Now you want to make this a race thing. After we stood up for you during Black Lives Matter, you're going to vote for genocide Harris? What the fuck are you talking about? Trump is literally going to do way worse in Palestine. You know that, don't you? Oh, I didn't say I was voting for Trump. I just said I wasn't voting for Kamala. Then who are you voting for? I didn't say Trump. And what about us here? As black people, we're going to be affected if Trump wins. Y'all will be affected too, but like, we're going through our own genocide. Don't you care? Like, we even promoted your movement during our movement, which was overshadowed by your movement and everybody else's. Let me just be honest. I'm not voting for it.
I'm going to step on a bunch of people's feet when I say this. You are not being discriminated against just because you are not centered in the story. I need people to marinate in that, sit with that. You are not being oppressed by other people talking about various histories or focusing on various literature. None of those things are directly harmful to you. The way some folks will literally try to spin it as if talking about, let's take an example, if talking about black history is harmful to them somehow. They never prove it. They never have any tangible examples of the actual harm of discussing black history. It's all based upon people's feelings, which, if we're basing things upon people's feelings, there's a whole group of black people who would love to talk about our feelings about things. Our feelings are never considered in these conversations, but the idea that it is oppressive to certain groups of folks to learn black history is wild. That is somehow harmful and detrimental to these folks to learn actual history, things that have actually happened, as opposed to those things that actually happened, is wild. It shows me that y'all have never truly been oppressed because of your color of your skin. Like, y'all have never experienced that. When I'm having these discussions here on this forum and folks come on and they leave their comments when I ask them for examples of how this is oppressive to them, you know what some of those comments are? Black history section at the bookstore. Netflix having a whole black section. The black hair care aisle. Do y'all see how that's like wild? That other people simply existing, simply talking about existing, or in the case of the hair care aisle, simply caring for our bodies is somehow oppressive to folks who are so used to being centered that they lose their marbles when they hear or learn or are confronted with the idea that other people exist in this world and may want a little scalp moisturizer or may want to read a book that talks about our experiences, or may want to watch a love story that features black love. That's the worst you gotta deal with? The idea that other people simply exist? That's the worst you have to deal with? Also, let me say this, because y'all think that everything black people do is cool without giving black people credit for it. Oppression is not fun. Being oppressed is not cute. Being harmed in so many different ways just because of the people that you come from is literally not fun. And I don't know why so many people want to be oppressed. I mean, outside of the fact that y'all think that everything black people do is cool. I mean, a bunch of y'all walk around with do-rags right now trying to get waves. And I'm like, baby, you enjoy those cornfield looking locks. Like, that's fine. Baby, y'all don't even know what this stuff is for. A bunch of y'all were throwing oil in your hair and like y'all didn't know what that stuff was for. Like, it's weird. It's strange. It's odd. It's getting strange. It's okay if you're not centered in the story. It's okay. Other people exist. Other people can tell their perspectives. Other people matter too. Like, wasn't that y'all big thing that all lives matter? Isn't this a prime example of that? Breathe. It's okay. Other people exist. You'll be fine. You'll survive.
Y'all are so blinded by hate. Let me tell you how racism is going to keep the middle class stuck. America has a long, ugly history of people hating black and brown folks, so much so that they're willing to vote against their own survival just to keep their own racist ideologies alive. Time and time again, working class white Americans have been tricked into supporting policies that make them poorer, sicker, and more desperate, all because those in power tell them that they're going to punish black people and immigrants and other marginalized groups. Donald Trump's tax plan is the latest proof of this self-destructive cycle. His policies will hurt 95% of Americans, especially working class white Americans who make up a large percentage of his base, but yet they will still support him. Why? Because his campaign fuels their hate, distracting them from the fact that they too are being robbed. They are so determined to see black people struggle, so obsessed with upholding white supremacy that they will literally vote to make themselves poor if it means keeping the lie alive. Meanwhile, the ultra rich, who don't care about race at all, just about staying rich and in power, laugh as they continue to collect wealth off the backs of struggling Americans. Trump's tax plan is not just about economics. It's a weapon of mass distraction, designed to use racism as a smokescreen while the rich steal from the poor. This isn't anything new. It's the same trick used throughout history. From the days of slavery, when rich plantation owners convinced poor whites to fight for a system that oppressed them to Jim Crow laws, to today's voter suppression and economic exploitation. The question I have is, when will people wake up? How much suffering will it take for them to see that the real enemy isn't black and brown people? It's the billionaires and the politicians robbing them blind while feeding them lies. This is the truth that racists don't want to admit. The very policies they think will hurt black and brown folks will hurt them first. And when they find out that they've been used as pawns in a game that's designed to keep them struggling, it may be too late.
I still, for the life of me, will never ever understand how anyone believed that Donald Trump winning would be a better option or a better choice than Kamala Harris winning, or that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump would be exactly the same. Now, I'm one of those that understand, as a Democratic voter, how weak the messaging apparatus truly is. They're not the most clear on how they're different from Republicans on a multitude of different issues, Palestine being one. Now, with Kamala Harris, she was crystal clear on how she differed from Donald Trump on a lot of different issues, to include Palestine. But I think the Democratic Party as a whole did a lot of damage to Kamala and her chances in 2024 because they weren't clear. And I know for a lot of people in the Democratic Party, we give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt and believe that because these are adults, that they can find information on their own. I don't personally believe that. I have always believed that the overwhelming majority of voters in this country are illiterate when it comes to politics. So they're not going to know where to look, what to look for. And if they do start looking, they might start looking for confirmation bias of things that they already believe. So if they believe that there's no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, the confirmation bias that they're going to look for is how the Democrats and the Republicans are similar on these issues. So it is incumbent upon the Democratic Party establishment to work on their messaging apparatus. Even if the Democratic voters are basically saying that they're not going to participate in protests, you won't be seeing them at these town halls, that they're going to be sitting out for the next 4 years, specifically the 92%. The politicians still have work to do. They still have to show that they are willing to fight. And for a lot of these Democratic politicians, they are not trying to meet the moment. They're not trying to meet the moment. A lot of these older Democrats are not trying to give up power to the younger generation. There's absolutely no reason why AOC and Jasmine Crockett shouldn't be front and center in the Democratic Party, because they are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And a lot of these older Democrats are trying to engage in respectability politics with a party, a large portion of the country that doesn't give a fuck about respect. Even the current sitting president of the United States that is literally trying to undermine the Constitution. We are so beyond respectability politics. In the next couple of years, the Democrats have to work on their messaging apparatus. They have to break it down, Barney style, in a way that the dumbest voter in this country can understand. And I'm going to stress, the dumbest voters in this country can understand. I know that the Democrats are still trying to hold on to this PC messaging, but at this current juncture, we have to be comfortable calling people exactly what they are. Because if you fell for a Trump scam again, you are dumb. A lot of these Trump voters are losing their jobs, losing their benefits. Their families are being deported. They are literally watching their families being genocided because this man basically says he wants to turn Gaza into a resort town. So they need to understand just how dumb it was to vote for this man. You're not smart voting for a man that's literally telling you that he's going to harm you. You are dumb. And that's what the Democratic Party has to start with. That we have a bunch of dumb voters in this country. And when you start at that honest point, then you can actually start doing your messaging that becomes more effective. And you can sell the populist platform that benefits a lot of these voters, even the dumb ones.
You know, Republican voters love to say, Donald Trump is your president. Why can't you accept it? Donald Trump is your president. You need to get over it. But I hope you guys know, for most of us, we have accepted it. We understand he is the president. Some of us think the way he became president is a little shaky, probably needs to have some extra eyes look into that. But at the end of the day, we know he's in the Oval Office. The problem is, it does not stop there, okay? It's never supposed to stop there. See, when you guys vote, and your leadership understands this, your representatives understand this, when you guys vote, you think voting that person in means you send them to Washington, and then they wave a magic wand, and they fix all of your problems. You think, I voted for Donald Trump, he won. Now, just by him being there, everything that I was concerned with before he became president is going to change. What do I have to follow up with him about? He's there, he's gonna do it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not Hogwarts, okay? This is not the Ministry of Magic. He's not showing up there and saying a spell or two, and you have lower grocery prices. You have more affordable health care. You have all the things that are currently making your life more difficult fixed. No, those changes take actual work, okay? They take negotiation. They take litigation. They take all of the pressure that comes from the people in order for our congressmen, our senators, and the president himself to act in our best interests, not in their own. It's funny you guys say you don't like socialism, but you seem to love the idea of the government taking care of all your problems once you get the people in there that you like. I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that is not our reality, okay? We absolutely need to keep questioning what these people do every single day. The pressure people have been putting on these senators, the pressure people have been putting on this congressman is why they are telling the muskrat that he can no longer act with unilateral power. I bet you if we weren't constantly asking, what does he do? Why is he doing it? How does he have the power to do it? Isn't this constitutional or unconstitutional? I bet you if those lawsuits weren't getting filed and those judges weren't looking into these cases because of the people constantly asking questions, we would not have seen any change on that matter. This is why the American people cannot just accept that he's president, go home, and not ask questions. That's how we got here to begin with. So instead of focusing on all of us complaining, I'm telling you right now, you guys need to be complaining a lot more.
It's obvious that many of you do not understand what restorative justice is. Restorative justice is compassion. Restorative justice is compassion for the victim first, for community, and it is also compassion for the offender. Restorative justice gives the victims an opportunity to be heard by community, by the offender. It gives victims the opportunity to say, this is what happened to me, this is what you did to me, and this is how it affected my life. Restorative justice gives victims a feeling of safety amongst the masses. It lets them know they are not alone. It validates the harm that has been caused to the victims and reminds victims that they have an entire community that loves and cares for them. Restorative justice is compassion for community because it brings community in to be witnesses, not mediators, but witnesses to a process in which our community restores order and brings the fold back together. Restorative justice is compassion for the community because it shows community that there is accountability here for each and every one of us, whichever side of accountability we stand on, whether we are being held accountable or the offender is being held accountable for the crimes they have committed against us. Restorative justice is compassion for the offender because what is the alternative? Lock them up and throw away the fucking key? Just discard them like they're trash? No. Restorative justice gives Shaheem the opportunity to hear what they've done wrong and come up with a plan with community to not reoffend anyone in community. Restorative justice gives Shaheem the opportunity to right their wrongs and come back home, to not be ostracized, to not be left without a people. And unfortunately, we don't practice restorative justice in our community. We fall back on the white man's idea of justice for Black lives, and that is just fucking punitive. In order for restorative justice to happen, Shaheem has got to be willing to come to the table. And these victims of Shaheem's have tried many times to communicate with Shaheem, but Shaheem does not value the lives of their victims. What Shaheem does is offends and then blocks, like the victims never even existed and certainly do not matter. And after Shaheem blocks their victims, then his flying fucking monkeys swarm their victims and makes the situation that much worse. Our community deserves better than that. And none of us are above accountability. I'm not trying to throw Shaheem away, but Shaheem has resisted the call-in one after another, and this has gotten bigger and bigger because the body count of victims continues to grow. And this community has to put a stop to it because Shaheem has a type, and I happen to be Shaheem's type of victim. And if I don't stop it from happening to someone else, I could be next. You could be next. And that fear right there is what destabilizes and disconnects our community. Restorative justice is in order so we can protect, care for, and clean our own communities without outside interference. And if you have a problem With people being doxxed, so do I. That's one of the things that we need to be talking to Shaheem about. If you have a problem with people calling Shaheem's job, Shaheem is a fucking therapist. And there is a level of accountability in that profession to do no harm. And you should also consider if Shaheem had respected their victims enough to actually sit down at the table and discuss the harm that they have caused in community, those victims would not now be seeking other alternatives for justice. Restorative justice is in order, and you've not seen it practiced very often, but that doesn't mean that this isn't it. That doesn't mean that this isn't it. You just don't like it because Shaheem is your problematic fucking fave.
Okay, it's true that all lives matter, but the only reason why we say Black Lives Matter is because I thought it was common knowledge, elementary school knowledge, that it is we are supposed to give prominence to that which has been ignored to elevate it to the status of others. So Black Lives Matter does not replace anybody else's life being also equally important, but we're just saying this has been happening and we need to check into this and challenge the narrative. I mean, I find it baffling that sometimes white people or the white folks would get agitated when black people are out there to complain and to protest and to seek justice and to scream the truth and say, yo, Black Lives Matter, our lives matter. But also the ironical bit is they also get agitated when black people don't say a thing. So when we're silent, they're agitated. When we are out to speak, you're too loud. So what exactly do you people want? Can't we just as black people have a space to do what we want to do? Okay. Now recently you've had the rumors of segregation being reinstituted by Donald Trump. Never mind that this man is moving at a speed of light, because 3 months into his tenure as the president of the United States of America, or in that Oval Office, and we're going back to Jim Crow era. And black people have been cool, have been, unperturbed and saying, bring it on. You're talking about segregation? We're okay, bring it on. Now, there is a reason to why black people are now not agitated with that. They are not under any panic or panic stricken and wanted to go out there in the streets with arms up and banners saying, our lives matter, don't bring back. They're saying what? In fact, if you wish, please bring back segregation and you shall regret. Okay, now, there's one thing. You try to bring back segregation, and uh, the working white American will suffer the most. One thing about hate that is fueled by white supremacy is it's so deep that it makes you make a decision, as wrong as, you know, so wrong a decision, it would even impact you negatively. But because you want to show solidarity with the people of your color, it doesn't matter. You would vote for Trump not because it will benefit you. You know that he's going to disadvantage you as a white person, but you'd rather suffer for as long as you think that the black people are going to suffer. That's so much hate. Now, when we say that the common working American will suffer the most, is one thing you need to know about Trump is just out there to make his millions. And with his circle of billionaire friends, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they're out there to exploit at any given opportunity. And it doesn't matter whether they find the white person on their way or the black person but they will throw anyone under the bus for as long as it is going to benefit them. Recently, in one of my videos, I sampled white people complaining on how the life in America has totally become unbearable for white folks as well. And you probably think, Donald Trump is a good businessman. He's an economist. He's going to make this economy really better. But to your surprise, Donald Trump is just out there to make money for himself, at least this time round. And if you stand in the way of him making his money, he will pass. He will, step over you and step over your head, as long as that is what it takes for him to make his dollars and to make himself far more rich. Now, why are black people not panic stricken at the thought of what Donald Trump is doing, the threats of segregation, and even Trump claiming to be interested in a third presidential term? Black people know that they have built America, and America is what it is because of the input, the effort, the energy, the spirits, and the blood and the tears of black people. If you subtract that from the history of America as it is, then there is no country like America in the very first place. So, and black people know that at any given moment, if segregation is attempted, then it would just do one thing. It would pull them together. It would unite them. Never mind that we black people should have been, it is a call that is long overdue, should have been well united long before this. But this could be just the last push, the last nail on the coffin to draw us back to our senses, to call us back to our senses, to tell us, to unite, because if we unite, then we can stand against the bully. Now, because white people can run their own schools, can run their own hospitals. White people are there with their own entertainment industry, with their sports industry. So what is it that we don't have? We are okay. We are sorted. Just tell us when you start implementing your, actualizing your segregation. Tell us where and when we are not required to show up, and we surely will not show up. That is what white people are trying to say when they say, bring it on. By the way, the businesses of white people would take the hardest hit, and the businesses of black people would benefit the most. Because looking into the statistics, nobody shops in America than the average black person. I don't know for whatever reason, but black people love to shop, be it online or offline. And the majority of of people that benefit from that shopping is white people. Now, these shoppers would just turn to shop from black people, black stores. So who would benefit and who would be at loss? There's no reason to fear anymore, but there's no reason to panic. Because another thing is, whenever there is a crisis, they will take advantage of provoking the black people to go out to the streets, so they can use them as a shield, they can use them as a sponge to take the shock, or to even declare martial law. The black people have learned from history, and it's time to just, uh, to tell everybody, to take responsibility of what you, because we had a chance to rewrite history on November 4th, but you know what you did. Now there's no point in trying to push me out of my comfort zone, telling me we need to do something, because we should have done that thing back in November. There's no point right now pushing me out to the street. You heard that the black people already marked themselves absent in the so-called hands-off protest. Most of the black people are saying we don't have business going out to the streets. We did go out to vote against him, but you voted him in. You knew who he was. Now, what is the point in, does it mean that every black person knew what was coming and all of you were blind to see the truth? So black people will now, I think it is time to just take things slow, let people take responsibility of their own mess, and at the same time to stand up and face the bully. If the bully is trying to call for segregation, just bring it on, baby. We will deal with that. Just tell us what and which places we are not needed, and we will surely not bring our black asses to those particular places. This is a long stretch home, but I can tell you for sure that we are in the right direction. Black people, we are on the right direction. And it doesn't matter when and what time we will get home. But as long as we are pointing to the direction that leads us home, then we will eventually get home. It's said sometimes it's good to consider and to understand that direction is far much more important than speed. As long as we have the right direction, the right direction of unity, direction in which we're not jostled into going out there so they can take advantage and even unalive us, or then we are eventually getting home. Thank you very much for sticking along this video. Please do share your thoughts, your opinions, if you have any, in the comment section below. Like and share this video, and if you have just come across this channel for the first time, be sure to subscribe to this channel and check out what we have on this channel in our other videos. So until next time, I will be happy to see you in the next video. Peace out.